all my Walt Disney ukulele students. I hope everybody's doing well and adjusting to our new social distancing methods of learning school and doing homework. I'm finally getting around to getting some software up and running and getting a YouTube page for my music stuff and posting some lessons, and hoping you guys can continue to learn and practice your instruments at home. So what I wanted to work on today was, in one of our last classes, our last two classes I believe, we were starting to work on some strumming patterns. Prior to that we had just been doing down strums, right? And then we talked about using up strums as well and creating patterns with those. So hopefully, I know some of you had ukuleles at home, and I know some of you are guitar players too, and these things can transfer just as easily to guitar. So if your dad has a guitar laying around, or you're taking guitar lessons, or you have your ukulele, you can work on these. And if not, you could even do the exercises with just the clapping and the counting that we're going to do. So the first thing we talked about, I'm just going to demonstrate these all on our basic C chord. Everybody remembers that, finger 3. And the first thing we want to learn is, when we strum down, we usually just use the fingernail of the index finger. Right? You could also use the thumb. Ukulele's pretty casual. I tend to use my index finger. When we do our up strums, we're going to use the bottom of the finger just coming up, like that. So if I strum down and up, it's my nail and my back of the finger, like that, right? So the first thing we did, if you look on underneath the video, there's a link to a PDF that goes along with this lesson. And we're going to look at this first page of basic timing exercises, and you can print those as well. And the first one, as you see, there's 4 stars. Those are going to indicate where I tap my foot down. You can't see my foot, but I'm going to clap these. The downstrokes are going to be underneath in time with those taps. And then my count is underneath that, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is going to be a 4/4 strum, meaning that each of these measures is going to get 4 beats. So my first thing is to establish that. I tap my foot and I count 1, 2, 3, 4. If this is my foot, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. And my strum would go along with the hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we talked about in between these downs of my hand, when my hand and foot come up, those are called upbeats, and we say and. So I would go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And now what I'm going to do is, as I do that strum, when I say and is going to be where my finger comes up. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's something you want to practice a lot. I don't have that on the sheet. I didn't put it in the strums, but that would kind of go after the first one. And that just helps you establish going from just downs to down and ups without changing the speed of your hands, which is very important. Now we're going to go to, I'm going to skip down to strum number 3 on the sheet. And we're going to have 1, 2, and 3, and 4 and. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out that first up strum that I just did. If I clap and count, I have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and that would sound like this. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and it's important to notice here that no matter whether I'm doing the first strum, just my downs, right, or my down and ups, or the strum number 3 that I just showed, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, they all look the same. So my hand never stops and goes or pauses. If it doesn't look like this, then you're probably doing something wrong and you want to go back to clapping and counting. So now, what we're going to do is if I take that strum number 3, you have a sheet here you can download of the basic chord groups. And there's a list of the different strums that we're going to be learning. And you can pick some of the lines and do the strum once on each chord. So if I do line 1, chords in the key of C, I have the chords C, F, G, 7, and C. And I would repeat that line a bunch of times and then ends on one strum of whatever the first chord is, which in this case is the C, right? So let's say I do that line 2 times in a row and then I end on C. I would take strum number on the page, it's the second strum from the top. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and, right? And I would do that strum once on every chord. So C, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and F, G7. Right? And repeat. To count out loud, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And I could speed it up a little bit too, right? Just like that. And then one last strum of C to end the line. Now I could try that on any of these other lines, right? If I gave you this sheet in class, I rewrote it and kind of made I separated the chords into groups of keys. So you might want to download and print this one out anyway because it's new. And so let's say I take another line, G, C, D, 7, and G. And I would do the same strum, G, C, D7, G. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and you want to practice these lines over and over again until you get very comfortable with the strum. Now there's another couple of strums. The third one down is the same one I just did, only there's no up after the 4. Just a variation, so the count would go 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And I would go 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Right? I'm just leaving out that up strum at the end there. And then the third one in 4/4 time is 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So that would go down, down, up, right? Again, if I clap and count, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. That's a pretty simple common ukulele strum too. Like that. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So let's say I do G or C, A minor, D minor, G7. C, A minor, D minor, G7. strums because they're all 4 beats. So if I'm strumming for real, I'm going to be doing one and the other and kind of just doing down and ups as I feel like it. So I can kind of improvise with these, right? Mixing them up. Right? Doesn't matter. Now, the next group of strums on here are 3/4, and these are based on 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, like that. So I start with 3 downs, count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now that gets pretty boring, right? So a common 3/4 strum is the second one down. I put an up in the middle, and that becomes 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now this is a short strum, so when you're doing these lines, I would start by doing it 2 times on each chord. So if I do line 1, I would do it twice on C, twice on F, G7, C. Repeat. Everything sounds good on the ukulele, right? It's just a fun instrument. Right? Now the last strum on this page is the same thing. It's a 3/4 strum. I just put an up after the 3. And again, a lot of times I just mix those up. That would count 1, 2, and 3, and 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 if I'm doing 3/4, again, I'll just mix these back and forth. So play around with those strums. Right? And just get comfortable with each one of those. And then in the next week or so, I'm going to post some songs that use these, and we'll be able to play them along together once you have the strum down, and practice these strums in some larger groups of chords. Okay, so good luck with everything. Hope everybody's doing well out there. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, and hang in there, and I hope to see you guys real soon. So take it easy. Bye.